สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Cindy Deekitwong. I am a global head of marketing for incubator business for Henko Additive Technology. I am so grateful to be a part of this terrific team of women speakers at Type 2021, powered by Women in 3D Printing. The title of my speech is a hashtag Stronger Together, delivering on the promise of 3D printing. I emphasize the Stronger Together hashtag on my social media posts. I know, I know, it's a hashtag, but this is the cool thing marketer do, right? But this more than just a phrase stronger together. For me, when it's come to the world of 3D printing, we are at the forefront of the developing industry, one that is responsive to the changes occurring daily in the world, the workforce, the environment, the goals of the equity, diversity, and of business and the marketplace. And now I'm going to hit you with another hashtag. And this is the one that cool marketer want to use. Hashtag choose to challenge represent the theme of International Women's Day this year 2021, which is held on March 8th. This is a global day that we're celebrating the social, the economic, culture, political achievement of the woman and to help driving women equity. The day we also marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. I support this effort, and just by its existence, so does this group that bring us together here today. This group represents some of the great promise of 3D printing. In just 6 years, Women in 3D Printing has grown to become one of the largest community in additive manufacturing, with more than 10,000 members in 75 plus chapters in 28 countries. Tap into the diversity, knowledge, creativity, and human connections that reflected in this group that will advance this growing industry. How do we accomplish those goals? This is the potential of 3D printing. Just as each piece of product that emerges from the printer, each company indeed, every one of our ecosystem colleague, we are very unique. Successful approaches are rooted in the art as much as they are in science. Markets, marketing, engineering, supply chain, all of these can be accessed and sourced differently than before. Instead of try and through business to business or B2B model, let us think in terms of B4E, business for everyone, converting that promise into reality, unlocking the potential of 3D printing in ways that serve our customer, building our businesses, and most importantly, unlatches that talent, the drive, innovation, and inspiration of our colleague that bring us here today. I want to share my story and my view in the hope that it inspired us to pull together and become stronger together. To build a strong future in additive manufacturing, we need to look at the spirit that brought us to this point in the industry today. When it comes to spirit, who has more spirit and energy than kids? I am a very proud mother of two very smart, very active 10 years old twin boys. And like most kids their age, they love to play with Legos. They will build all kind of creations with their Legos, spending hours and hours on building something new. And then what happened? They tear it all apart. I cannot believe it. I said to them, "What are you doing?" They said to me, "Don't worry, mom. Next time I will build it just better and faster." I think this is a look into the history of 3D printing. We are not locked into the long business and industrial legacy. Our history stretches back only about 40 years. Because of that, the quote unquote rules of the older legacy industry is not applied to 3D printing. Rules are not written in the stone. 3D printing has come into its own while the norms of industry and society are changing. The inherent flexibility built into additive manufacturing allow us to keep pace and even more ahead of those ever-changing norms. Like my twin sons with their Legos, we are not locked into what we build today or what was built in the past. When you are free from the idea that you must follow what has been done in the past or before, it gives you that freedom to create and follow your own path. To me, this is a big part of the appeal to the 3D printing. The barrier to entry in this business are not as high as with other legacy businesses. A person or a small company can start with a 3D printer. The software, engineering, and material can be accessed much easier than the traditional industrial manufacturing process. But to start small and scale it up, it takes more than just an engineer and the printer. We need to rely on each other. We need collaboration. I'd like to share one of my favorite example of collaboration. We know that the train travel is a very important part of life in Europe. Both Germany and France have a very good reputation for the train travel. But which country has a faster train? Mhm. You may not think, or you may think that this is Germany because the train technology is better. But guess what? The French trains actually are faster. There is a collaboration between the entity that focus on building the train and those that building the rail system. In Germany, there's not the same collaboration between building the trains and building the train tracks. The train themselves could go faster, but the train track system does not allow it. The French trains go faster because there is more collaboration between systems that allow for success of the whole. This is where we are in 3D printing. We are more successful. We can and do run faster when we collaborate. Look at this conference. We represent four disciplines in the field: technology, industry, people, economics, which is the track I'm on right now. Why all of us has a little about know a little about the other aspect. We are strongest in our own fields. So we know that to succeed, we have to reach out and connect with others in our industry that are specific expertise in their field. We lean in and rely on each other. Indeed, we become stronger together. Collaboration is a great concept, right? But in the business world, the competition typically wins over collaboration. However, we have a real world example where the collaborative approach of 3D printing industry responded in the real time to the national crisis. At the onset of COVID-19 pandemic last spring, a major barrier, widespread individual testing, soon emerged. The test required a very specific nasal swab, and the two major manufacturers of that swab, one in Maine, one in Italy, could not meet that incredible increase in the demand because of outbreaks among their employees. The need for the solution became rapidly apparent. A doctor in Boston Hospital reached out to some of his former classmates from MIT, including those in the 3D printing industry, seeking their help and ideas. In less than a month, companies and labs using 3D printing technology, they developed the prototypes. And those prototypes also been tested, approved, and scaled up to produce and support hospital and labs that are desperately needed those nasal swabs. One of the company involved in that initial effort is our partner Origin, which offers software engineering, hardware, material solution to its customer. When the need arises to help deliver those nasal swabs, Origin passed the clinical trial to become an FDA regulated medical device manufacturer. Origin is one of the only four companies that successfully passed on the phase 3 clinical trial and able to produce and deliver over 500,000 sterilized swabs to healthcare providers in just several weeks. Origin was not able to make this quick pivot on its own. They collaborated with my company Henko to identify the biocompatible materials that Origin they could use to manufacture those swabs. Our company Henko helped the development in this situation in two ways. We supported biocompatibility and initial testing at our facility in Concord, California. Henkel's Albert software platform, which enabling the development for the best material to meet the product specification, was also very critical in the process. By using Albert's platform, our company developed the best and high performance material for the application. Chris Prusha, he's a founder and CEO of Origin. He summarized his teamwork approach very well. His quote, by working collaboratively and utilizing each other technology, we identify, we optimize, scale the manufacturing process to bring an application to the market extremely fast. Not only was this a prime example from my point of view on how collaboration between different companies lead into the win-win solution for our customer and market. And indeed, all of us, because of the pressing need of that nasal swab during that pandemic, this is also a case study for the economic prospect representing the promise of 3D printing. According to the study done by the Kinery, the international management consulting firm, additive manufacturing, we are well positioned to accelerate its growth potential. When this study was written back in 2018, the author forecast that 3D printing would triple its market value from 8.8 billion US in 2018 to 26 billion US in 2021. The study also forecasts a growth potential in major manufacturing sectors, industrial, automotive, consumer products, healthcare, medical device, and aerospace. These sectors were identified by about 112 individuals with experience in 3D printing who took part in that survey. According to the study, 3D printing could reduce the need for imports in that sector by producing end-use parts in United States. By 2027, Keanu also analyzed and suggests that 3D printing could affect up to 42% of production in these sectors I just described. The study suggests also that between 1.7 million and 2.8 million new jobs could be created or onshore to the United States because of this 3D printing technology, and capability could be used to manufacturing parts that now built overseas. This study stated that between 330 billion and 500 billions US will in imports could be brought to the US shores with the use of additive manufacturing. As noted by the National Association of Manufacturers, each manufacturing job has an 1.8 multiplier factor, so the potential exists to add between 3 and 5 million new jobs by 2027 as a result of increasing the use of 3D printing or additive manufacturing. If anything, the ability of 3D printing industry to answer the call for that nasal swab to assist in COVID-19 testing, this might speed up that growth curve. 3D printing industry demonstrated the inherent of advantage in creativity, collaboration, value, responsiveness to the customer and market solution, especially at the time of the crisis. In the story in the Forbes magazine about the companies that collaboration or collaborating with the Belgium company Zigzag on adapting nasal swab for Belgium, Additive Manufacturing Technologies CEO Joseph Captry, what he said is that up until now in 3D printing, there isn't really been a case of mass production. Aside from a niche case study, Captry also say that it's so unfortunate that it's taken an event like COVID. But as an industry, this is fantastic. It speed up the adoption by 5 or perhaps even 10 years. People are now seeing 3D printing as a viable alternative to traditional manufacturing. And this is fantastic thing for the industry. By now, the use of 3D printing allows those swabs to be manufactured literally anywhere. The design pioneered by the Beth Israel Deaconess in Boston is also being produced nationally. The design that developed by University of South Florida is being manufactured in at least 22 countries. When the products that once had to be shipped around the globe can be produced closer to the final customer, we all win, right? Reducing the global supply chain support the universal goal of using fewer fossil fuels. Global shipping is responsible for 2.89% of the world's CO2 emission, according to a study by International Maritime Organization. The growth of 3D printing can benefit the environment by bringing the finished good closer to the market, reducing the amount of fossil fuels required in the global shipping. As a leader in 3D printing industry, we can take this case study and use this as a springboard to grow our own businesses and create wins for the customer. This is where those intangibles like collaboration, creativity, using your artistic side come into play. The rapid response by 3D printing community to the need of that nasal swab is a great case study. It's also a roadmap on how to expand our businesses, support our customer, and support larger goals as well. Remember, stronger together. So far, I have been talking about our industry. Now, I want to focus on us, our role as a leader in the industry, and how we can be a stronger together. We all like to be comfortable, right? This is the time of the year. We like a warm, fuzzy sweater or fresh, hot cup of coffee. That kind of comfort is fine, especially in January here in Connecticut. But in business, women professionals should not feel comfortable all of the time. If you are comfortable, then you are okay with the status quo. If you are okay with the status quo, then the chance of you unlocking all of potential that exists within you, within the people you lead, within your business relationships, within the larger world of 3D printing, all of that potential couldn't go unrealized. Some of the core values I have discussed today: collaboration, using your artistic side in the business world, the idea of business for everyone, B for E, economic growth, as well as the importance of women as a leader and role models in 3D printing may not seem easy to put into everyday practice. It can be uncomfortable to pick up the phone and make a call to someone for the first time. It can be uncomfortable to look at the problem, see it differently, and offer a solution that's not fit into the trying the true. It most certainly is uncomfortable to be the only woman or minority sit in the leadership team or conference room. We can be comfortable sitting in our own silos, focusing only what it is in front of us, doing just enough to get through the day and doing things the way they have always been done. But we cannot be responsive to the challenges at hand if we are not willing to be uncomfortable, if we are not willing to extend ourselves. Look at the rubber band. How does the rubber band do its job? You have to stretch it, sometimes almost into the breaking point, but then it's bounced back, wraps around those paper or folders that you need to hold together. By stretching, the rubber band does its job. When I suggest that you should not get comfortable, that you should stretch yourself, I say that because this is how we advance our goals, not just in the growth of 3D printing, but in the representation of women and minority in our field. Just look at this group, Women in 3D Printing. We have expanded from a blog to one of the biggest 3D printing group with more than 10,000 members in 6 years. That source of growth does not happen without people willing to step up, get involved, and contribute. People stepping outside of their comfort zone. So I say to you, be comfortable with the feeling of being uncomfortable. Be willing to stretch the rubber band. Growth in every sense, personal growth, business growth, industrial growth, diversity growth. It's happened only when we are willing to take the next step, to go a little further today than where we were yesterday. I want to remind you of my second favorite hashtag today, choose to challenge. International Women's Day. This hashtag should be our daily reminder that we must extend ourselves. Let's all of us take the challenge to push that boundaries to create the path for us to follow. That must be our challenge to widen the path and create more opportunities for the equity. Think about what does not happen if we are not willing to stretch ourselves. For one, we are not holding this conference today because this group likely would not exist. Without a group like this, we do not attract more women into the field of 3D printing. Collaboration between different fields does not happen. Creative solution to our business partners' problem do not happen. Potential for economic growth in 3D printing, as forecast in the Canary report I referenced earlier, doesn't come to pass. This group is so valuable in this sense. Why I'm suggesting that you should stretch yourself to be uncomfortable. You do not have to do it by yourself. The importance, the piece of that collaboration begin with connection that you have made through this type conference. This incredible collection of talents, experience across 3D printing disciplines of, again, technology, industry, people, economies, youth. That collaborative spirit extends through that context and knowledge outside this conference as well. As I said in the start, we are at the forefront of a new growing industry. We can and will set the standard of economic growth and the business solution in the environmentally friendly, sustainable manner that provide for rewarding careers for all in 3D printing well into the future. The path forward is to collaborate on those shared goals and indeed become stronger together. Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ